I'm Intruder Green. You might know me from things like Hard Luck, The Old Don Jail, and Band Lab. Welcome to the Intruder Green podcast. It's the 24th of June, 2020, and I want to figure out a thing to do here, because the deal is, as things go on, people get bored and kind of move on from the movements that are happening and whatnot. And I think it's important to not go back to normal too much. People's streams are less filled with Black Lives Matter posts and whatnot and all that. And that's going to happen. But, I think it's important to keep up with things and keep pushing the issue a little bit, at least. There's some things that we want to continue on. And but just wanted to bring up a few things since there's not a whole lot of news other than these Trump rallies that are happening with, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but I guess I should give a shout out to the teens of Tulsa for kind of I don't know if you call it trolling or what, but basically they signed up for a bunch of spots at the Trump rally in Tulsa. And of course, they just didn't show up then. And so there was a bunch of empty seats, partially because of that. I think also partially because nobody fucking wants to go to a fucking Trump rally. So, anybody can do this. If you see Trump coming to your town or whatever, you can basically sign up for, seats. I think you can get 2, and they take your phone number and I think your email, and then they try to hit you up for donations and stuff. But it's you don't got to give them nothing. And then after the rally's over, you just fucking unsubscribe or whatever from their email chain, and you're all good. And honestly, actually, I figured this out too. If you want to if you don't want to give them your real number, there's online things. I know Google has Google Voice, and that's actually what I use for the Intruder Green call-in line, where you can just sign up for a new phone number that attaches to your regular phone number. And this only works for people in the States, by the way. I think you have to have a U.S. phone number to do it, and then you get a U.S. phone number with the Google Voice. There might be other ways to do this that I don't know about, but this is definitely a good way to do it. Frankly, is what I used. All right. And if you go through the records and you see that, hey, why is the Intruder Green call-in line number signing up for Trump tickets? Well, that's why. Because, it's good to troll these fucking assholes. And it's a good idea. So, I don't know. Check out all the other apps, too. I think there's other stuff out there. But I know that the Google Voice one works. It might take a couple of days to actually get it going, though, because I think they have to, I don't know, verify some shit or something. Or maybe it doesn't take that long. I don't know. It's been a long time since I set that up. But, it's lots of fun. I guess the one thing that is happening, though, right now is people tearing down all these statues, which for the most part, I think is pretty cool. It's kind of it's the ultimate fuck you. We're not going to celebrate these oppressive figures no more. And it gets a little in the gray area, I guess, because some of these people were known to be pretty cool, but they're also problematic because they did some real fucked up shit, either before or after the one or two things that they are known to be cool for. So, I don't know. I guess I can't judge on that stuff. And the only thing I will say is that, as far as learning from history, which people are oh, these are supposed to remind us about history and stuff. It's well, then put them in a fucking museum. Because, when you put a statue up of something, that's not a lesson. You're putting that up to, glorify them and celebrate them, fuck. It's not that fucking hard to figure out, That's what textbooks not that I ever read a textbook, but I believe that those are what that is for. And museums, of course, where you can actually go and see this stuff and then have a little blurb about it where they're hey, this guy was kind of cool, but he also did some fucked up shit. So don't worry about him too much. All right. But there's definitely some gray areas there and whatnot. But as far as all the Confederate statues, I think it was pretty clear that shit needed to go. And frankly, they were trying to have it done peacefully in the past. I don't know how long ago that was, but I remember at least a few years ago, there was a big discussion about should we take these fucking statues down, and everybody was like, "Fuck you, go back in your hole. Don't bother me with the minorities and stuff." And so that seemed to have quashed the issue for a bit. And now that it's just like the rest of this movement, they're like, well, you didn't let us do it peacefully, and you didn't fucking change your ways at all. So now we got to do it the hard way, or as I like to call it, the fun way. Anyway, yeah, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, I wanted to touch on brand or symbol. I think it's called reappropriation would be the right term for it. And because I seen a lot of stuff lately about Proud Boys and all that stuff. It's weird talking about this stuff because like they kind of infiltrate the punk rock scene a little bit, I think, or it definitely like Nazi skinheads and stuff. But all of that shit, it's good to keep in mind that it sucks because like a good friend of ours, I remember at Fest a year or two ago, was like having a really hard time because he was wearing one of those shirts. I don't remember what the fuck they're called, but they're like those polos that the Proud Boys wear, and they're like specific colors. I think it's like the yellow and black one. And yeah, our buddy like got called out for wearing it, and he got called a Proud Boy. He's definitely not. I'm pretty sure he's like well, I don't want to like specify who he is too much, but anyway, he's definitely not a Proud Boy. But he just didn't know about it. And the shitty thing is, it's like, yeah, he got called out, and like he's like, no, I don't fuck you, I don't do that. And it's like, why? And then somebody was being a dick to him, and it's like, yeah, of course, if he was being a Proud Boy asshole, he deserved to be a dick to, but he wasn't. He was just wearing the shirt. And that's the problem with this reappropriation stuff. You get people doing these things, and it's happened even more so with the skinhead thing, because that was not at all about white supremacy or anything, and that got kind of hijacked long ago. And so now every time you see a guy like a white guy with a bald head and fucking combat boots on, you think, oh, he's obviously a white supremacist, which was not what that look was all about when it started. So it sucks. It all sucks, but it's important to notice that they always do that. They always have to reappropriate something because they don't have a fucking original bone in their goddamn bodies. So even the fucking swastika was, I believe, I think a Native American symbol. A fucking Hitler had to hijack that and ruin it. So as far as like what a lot of that stuff, it is what it is. I don't know if it'll ever like not be associated with that. But the new stuff, maybe fight it. Like, don't let them have it. I think the new thing was the Boogaloo whatever boys, like the guys that are coming down to the protest to start fights, and they're all wearing like Hawaiian shirts or something. And I gotta say, I don't actually get to wear Hawaiian shirts too much because it's a little inconspicuous when you're trying to do crimes or whatnot, but I do love them, and I definitely don't want to have no motherfucking asshole alt-right fucking white supremacist whatever ruining that, because Hawaiian shirts are tight. And by Hawaiian shirts, I don't necessarily just mean like actual Hawaiian shirts, but like the floral print shirts, stuff like that, party shirts. I think they're real cool, and I don't want to see them that get ruined either. Even tiki torches. Like, remember when they had that fucking, I don't know, what was that, 2016, when Trump was like getting elected and stuff, and the guys came out with the tiki torches, and they were all fucking white supremacists, like, oh, you will not replace us and all that stuff. Fucking tiki torches are cool. Don't let them have that. I mean, I realized that it was probably just a way for them to have a torch. Like, oh, how do I make fire? Well, I'm a, middle class white guy who lives in the suburbs, so I can't actually make a real torch. So I'll just go to Home Depot and buy this thing. Which, by the way, I think apparently Home Depot's a bunch of CEOs motherfucker too. Anyway, the world's still going crazy, especially America, and but it could be for the better eventually. It's just the hard part, getting through it. there's elections coming, and if you could vote and you're not a felon, like some people I know, then you better make sure you do it. And, as far as returning to the new normal, as far as returning to normal, I think we got to concentrate on having a new normal where, I don't know when COVID is going to go away, and I don't know when, we're going to fix some of these fucking problems that we have, because it seems like every time something like this happens, the other side comes up with something to sort of like sweep it under the rug again. And I don't know, things are getting violent now, and I hope that means that we're not going back to the way to the old normal. We need to start a new normal, And one of my favorite guys on the internet who like writes stuff about the Green Bay Packers. I know that sounds like a weird thing for me to be talking about, but he's real good. Go to askvic.com. I think that's what it's called. And, he's been around for a long time. He's an old guy. And he wrote some good stuff about the new normal. And he was like, when was anything normal? You got fucking protesters getting shot in the 60s. And then, all these civil rights leaders, the president getting shot, all this stuff that happened throughout history. You got all sorts of shit going on in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s. And it's like, I don't know that anything is ever really that normal. I mean, there might be times when stuff doesn't affect you as directly, but there seems to always be stuff going on that is eventually gonna come to a head. And if you don't, nip it in the butt early, you're probably gonna have to deal with it, on whatever level you deal with your regular life. So I don't know, guys. I'm sorry to rant and everything, but it's important to keep these issues in mind, even when we're just trying to have a good time and listen to a tight podcast. All right. Just keep that stuff in mind. Got to give a shout out to the producers of the podcast: Luke Ellis, Heather Royston, Gem City Sabrina, Vaughn Cotton, Sarah Koenig, Chelsea McNally, Cardboard Box Colony, and Carlos Hernandez. On today's show, I got a Gabe Koury, and he's a fucking great dude. Lots of fun. I'm still, after doing this podcast, I'm still not 100% sure what he does, but I know he does stand up as a comedian. I don't know what else he do stand up for, but he tells jokes, and he is the booker, promoter, manager, whatever at the Bovine Sex Club in Toronto, which is not actually a sex club. I mean, I don't know that to be 100% true. I think it's not a sex club, but it could be, but it isn't really. I think you might get in trouble if you try to have sex, on the stage or something, but I don't know for sure. You could maybe find out and let me know. And that'd be real cool. All right. But, it's a cool punk club that a lot of people go to. I think we even talk about it in a podcast. Anytime we play Toronto, it don't matter where we're playing. As long as we got time to hang out afterwards, we always end up at the Bovine. So it's a good stuff. Gabe's a cool dude. And this was done well before the protests started happening. So we don't get into that. But I have a good feeling that he would have some cool stuff to say about it. So, without further ado, on with the show.
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
Intruder Green,
an inmate at the Durham Correctional Institution. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept charges, press 1.
Come on, girl, now it's time to go to a place where nobody goes. In another town, on the other side of space, it won't be the same. Unlocking girl with party clothes. Unlocking girl with party clothes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gabe Koury on the Intruder Green podcast. All right. Yeah. What did you just ask me? You were asking me how I'm doing.
Yeah, I just want to know how you're doing, man. How's
how's life as Green Intruder? Like, what's going on? I mean, you can't be robbing houses or breaking into liquor stores anymore. I mean, are you? Like,
I mean, allegedly, no. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, that would be a lot easier to do right now. Except everybody's home. It's a lot easier to do that stuff when nobody's home. That's the way we prefer to work it. We're very non-confrontational, and
sure. So you've been social distancing even before the quarantine in terms of robbing people of their expensive stuff.
That's right, absolutely. And
you're so progressive.
That's right, very progressive. We're very smart, and we like politics and stuff. So vote for us and legalize crime. But yeah, like we're doing our part to like keep shit real and keep people not sick and stuff, or like trying not to get sick ourselves and whatnot. But yeah, it's weird. Like I worry about these things too. Like I keep saying, it's important, like they want to open up businesses again and everything so people can like start working again. And I believe that is a good idea, but I also think it's a good idea not to rush it. Probably like a measured approach is the best way to go. If any politicians ever heard of that, I don't think any in America have, but like whatever. And it's important to me that people make money because then they got money in their pockets, and that's they got to be walking around with that stuff. It's no good if
you need the Gitas in your pockets, dude. Like you need to make some bank. Like I hear you, dude. Right now I'm not working, just like plenty of other Canadians that are not really working. But it's got to be patient and play your cards right, so that at least you have jobs to go back to post this quarantine, right? So
yeah, and
pretty interesting all over.
Yeah, and like living people to go to your businesses and stuff. And
you want them to be alive. I don't want. I mean, look, I'm not opposed to zombie movies, but I don't know if I want some zombies in my workspace. You know what I mean? Like eating brains and spreading rabid, infectious, rage-induced eating habits. Nah, it's bullshit, man. I don't want that shit. I would appreciate healthy people coming to the workplace I'm a part of to spend money and to enjoy live music.
At least semi-healthy people, right? It's like
beggars can't be choosers. So like as healthy as possible, realistically. I mean,
right.
I'm not a diva when it comes to people's like health levels, but I mean, just like a notch above zombie and a notch under like you remember Danny DeVito, like Frank Reynolds from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when he freaks out about germs and he shaves all his eyebrows and puts himself in Purell, like a level under that, a level under Purity and a level over zombie is like a perfect candidate to be a patron.
That sounds great to me. Yeah, I fucking I don't know. I would like to feel Purell all over my body, but I think it would just dry my skin out real bad. Probably more like
dude, it'd be disgusting. Yeah. I don't think it'd be that good, but
maybe like coconut oil or something. That sounds delicious.
Ooh. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You get nice smooth skin. You smell nice.
That's right.
Good. No, I like that. Coconut. It's like I'm assuming it's healthier. It's like less chemicals and
for sure.
It's more natural.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, before we keep going like this, we should explain to people what exactly you do. And I'm not even sure exactly what you do, to be honest, because I know that you're involved with the Bovine Sex Club, but I don't know to what capacity. So maybe explain that.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I'll explain. My name is Gabe Koury. I'm the talent buyer / booking manager / promoter. I don't know what you want to call the exact title, but
sure.
I guess
promoter.
Government wise, I'm the talent buyer / promoter for the Bovine Sex Club. It's one of Toronto's oldest rock clubs. There's a handful of badass rock clubs in the city, but we celebrated 29 years a couple months ago. And we've been around for a while. We put on like punk rock, metal, hardcore, ska, garage rock, literally anything that is loud and induces a party. And that's what I do. I also work freelance with bands. I do press for bands. I'm also a musician. I've been playing bass for going on 1,000 years. And also I'm a stand-up comic. I've been doing stand-up for about 7 years. And I did shows all over the country and all over the US and got to do some cool shit.
Nice. Yeah. Excellent. I mean, I know you're always there, and obviously you helped us set up that. We did the DJ night there, right? Oh, yeah, of course we did. Yeah,
the Interrupter. After the Interrupter show at the Danforth. Yeah, that was so much fun, man. That was that was a lot of fun. It was nice to see you and Bradford not fighting necessarily, and
Yeah.
literally just getting drunk and dancing on stage. Because throughout your set, he's constantly trying to enforce the law on you
Oh, I
and
know,
your
he's a
bandmates
dick.
and trying to arrest you. It's kind of taxing. It's like, okay, dude, get over it. It's like 500 tours you've been on and you still haven't arrested these guys. It's like, let them go. Dance with them, and he did that. I thought that it's very nice. It's nice to see that. It's not a police state anymore. It's just
That's
two
right.
cats. One's a burglar, one's a law enforcement, and they're
Yeah.
fucking doing the worm on stage while listening to Notorious B.I.G. at the Bovine. It was a really nice thing.
That's right. It helps that Officer Bradford, I think he moonlights as like a bartender / like DJ party dude.
Yeah.
Which is, I think that's kind of like almost, I don't know. It's like he wants to be a cop real bad, but he fucking sucks at it. So then he's like, well, guess I'll just do something that allows me to like consume copious amounts of booze as well, so I can get over the fact that I suck at my real job. And it's like, yeah, buddy, all right, I get that. Yeah, he's a lot more fun when he's partying and stuff instead of being a dick, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, when he's half in the bag. Oh, sure. I mean, look, for the most part, I think a lot of people could agree it's either two polar opposites. It's either someone is super someone's when they're drunk, they're like really digestible, and you could party with them, and you're like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And some people when they're drunk, it's almost like I can't be in the same time zone as you. You know what I mean? I need to be away from you. And it seems like the chemistry you guys have, it's like appealing where you're just like, oh, I want to be your homie and I just want to dance and have fun and take off my shirt, but keep my mask on. Like that was great. Like honestly, that was really. It's nice to see people have fun on stage, dude.
Yeah, that's right. And we did that. We fucking killed ourselves with the DJ parties on that tour, though.
Yeah.
It was like...
And you had how many did you do that tour? Like, you did what? At least 10, 12?
We did.
You did quite a few.
At least. Like, it ended up just being like way too much because I got the idea to do it thinking like, hey, this will be a nice way to like hang out with fans and like do something after the show, because they were all like shows that got done early, and then it's like a lot of times you get done with the show and then it's like, all right, guess we'll just go to like a hotel or something and hang out with the same fucking guys all night and like probably drink a few beers or whatever until we pass out. But it's like, maybe if you plan something else afterwards, you can, like I said, engage with the fans and like have a good time and, make every night like a little special. But then I got a hold of this lady. Oh, do you know Sarah Litt? She's from there.
Oh, Sarah, yeah, Sarah's a bud. I actually just spoke to Sarah earlier today, actually. Yeah, Sarah's wicked. Sarah's a good egg.
She's great, and she's very good at her job because basically...
she linked us together. I think she linked us together. I think she's the one that three-way emailed you and I think, or I don't know if it was your agent or not, but yeah, I think Sarah's the one that facilitated all that.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, she basically acted as our agent, although she was kind of doing it for, what do you call that? Quasimodo, quo pro, no, whatever that is, where you like do something basically for free.
Pro bono.
Yeah, that's the one, pro bono.
Who started that term?
I think it was
what does that mean?
The Latins. Think about did the Greeks.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Like literally bono. Like I mean, the two Bono, like there's Bono from U2, and then there's Sonny Bono.
That's right.
Rest in peace. So pro, like, are you for Bono? Like, are you for ski accidents? Like, what the fuck does pro bono mean?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of either of those guys, but like Bono. Yeah, I don't know.
But I know what you mean.
You got to learn how to speak Latin, I guess. That's what it is.
I guess.
I guess. But it was great because she came in and we met her through Melanie K, who she's been helping me out with some of the podcast stuff, giving me lots of her people to come be
Melanie
on the show.
Melanie is the best. What I do for freelance, when I do freelance press for bands, Melanie is like my mentor for that. Like,
she's great at it.
I interned for her once for a little music festival, and I learned a lot of stuff from Melanie. Melanie is a really, really cool cat. She works super hard to be like the queen of Canadian punk. Like she literally knows she knows everyone, and she literally worked with everyone. Yeah, Melanie's super badass. She put on a show, I think for Bad Brains when she was a teenager in Ottawa. Like that's so cool. Yeah, that's
that's
so
amazing
badass.
to know too. Like I always think of her like the way she is now. She's she's cool, but she's like super chill. It's funny to think of her as like being a teenager and like kind of like possibly be even more involved with the fucking shit, like putting on shows like that.
Yeah, that's so cool. I don't know if it was her. I think she did like Damien Abraham from Fucked Up. He has a podcast called Turned Out a Punk, and he had Melanie K on, and Melanie was talking about her life growing up in Ottawa, which is the capital of Canada, and
Yeah.
Ottawa had a solid small punk scene. And yeah, Melanie was talking about how like she came up in that and like used to put on shows, and it was really fucking cool. Melanie's really badass, very inspirational.
Yeah, well, I've been talking to her a lot about like doing stuff, and I'm keep being like, yeah, you should come on a podcast, and she keeps being like, yeah, we should talk. She won't like,
That's it.
you know, yeah, she
Stops there.
I don't know. Hopefully I'll get around one of these days, but anyway, yeah, like she hooked me up with Sarah Litt, and then Sarah was like, all right, I'll book you some DJ parties, and I kind of gave her a list of like when I thought possibly we could do them, and she basically filled every fucking night that I gave her a list for, and I was like, holy shit. And it was like, all right, we're gonna do it. And then fucking halfway through, it was like, oh God, this is just grueling. Because, you know, it was one thing if it was going to be like a couple nights a week, then we do like an extra after bar, or well, not after bar, but like, you know, after show thing.
Yeah.
But then it was like
party for the show. Yeah.
But then it was like every other night, and then it was like 3 nights in a row, and it was like, oh God, we got to do it. We have to keep drinking.
The night that you guys did Bovine, dude, it was a 4 a.m. last call, so we had an extended license that night. So that night was like even later.
Yeah,
like I think you guys were done by like 3:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was you know, it was a double-edged sword a little bit or whatever, and you know, but it was a great time. Don't know if we'll do it again, but you know, maybe on a lower capacity or whatever. Like definitely no more of those 3 nights in a row. Maybe not going till 4 a.m. or whatever. But you know, good times. Yeah,
no, it was. I'm really happy that came into fruition. To be honest, like I was really. It's though I personally think at first I thought like DJ after parties for certain shows that were at other venues. I thought they were kind of weird. But then prior to you guys, Frank Turner did one a couple months before, and he was super nice. He was so cool, and he just had fun. Like he was just up there, and all like a bunch of fans were taking pictures with him and hanging out and doing shots. And Frank Turner sold out 3 nights at the Phoenix. Like you guys played the Phoenix, right?
Yeah, we did.
Right, like and that's where I think you were supposed to play with Les and Jake coming up. That tour that got postponed.
That's right.
With Les and Jake and Lagwagon. But like they did 3 nights at the like Frank Turner sold out 3 nights at the Phoenix. That's crazy. That's huge. That's like
for sure.
Fuck, that's a couple thousand people, and then he's just hanging out at a club that fits max like like less than 200 people, and he's just hanging out doing shots and like talking about the Offspring with fans. Like that's really cool. It's really, really refreshing to see that. And you guys did the same shit. I think that's really humbling to see bands do that. And like, you know, you're going to be tired, but at least you get to make your fans happy, and ultimately you get to have a fun time. You know, it's cool. I like that.
And that's the thing. That was actually the other thing that made us kind of realize we wanted to do the DJ thing, is because we're like, well, we'll probably, you know, especially in the case of like the Bovine, it doesn't matter like who we're on tour with or whatever. We always end up hanging out there. You know?
Yeah, so, and I noticed that too. The other times you guys come hang out there, which is cool. So I don't know. It just it's nice to like I said, it's nice to see that and encouraging.
I lost you, bud.
Oh, hello.
Hey, sorry, I don't know what happened there, but I lost you. Hopefully that doesn't keep happening. Shit. What?
Hello.
Hey, I don't know what the fucking problem is. It ain't my data, so hopefully this just works now.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. We lost steam though. What the fuck were we talking about?
We kind of did. What were we talking about? Well, you're talking about like the just like being on the road, and after the show, it is plausible that you'd be exhausted and maybe you don't want to party with people and stuff. Yeah, which is like understandable. But, you know, if the show's early enough, and I don't know, like, what if you do make those extra, like, 30 to 40 fans that much happier that, like, I don't know, that's a cool, once again, I just think it's fucking rad that you guys did that shit. Yeah. And I don't know, somehow you took your shirt off and your mask stayed on your face.
Absolutely. I'm good at that. But but also like I think where we were at was like hanging out at the Bovine. We always end up doing that anyway. So it's like, why not throw a DJ party and have like a real reason for us to be there, and like, you know, then you guys give us drink tickets then too. So that's helpful as well.
Yeah. Oh, dude, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and hopefully we attract a little more business for you guys and everything like that. It's all good
Yeah.
stuff. Wait,
Oh,
there was like
absolutely.
I think, wasn't there like an open mic or some kind of thing going on before we did our DJ set too? Like, I feel like
Okay,
I remember that being a thing.
Okay, the DJ set you guys did, there was a show. There was like three bands.
Yeah, like a full-on
before
show.
you guys.
Yeah.
It was a really good show. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it was.
Zeroed, Acids, and Zuku. Like these like I don't know, artsy kind of melodic punk bands. Anyways, really cool bands. Like I'm really glad that like everything gelled together because they didn't want to add a fourth band, but you guys could have only realistically started later, so it worked so well.
Yeah.
And the time with the open mic when you guys toured with Direct Hit, when you played the Hard Luck, that was on a Monday, and Monday nights we normally have open mics. Like and it's mainly for music, but like every now and then, like like I show up to do stand up there every now and then because there's no other comics and musicians waiting for their turn to go up there and play like Wagon Wheel or some fucking Chuck Reagan cover, you know what I mean, or whatever it is. Like they're just as much of a stranger as a stranger from a comedy show. So
yeah, right.
And that's what happened that night was the quote unquote after party after that Hard Luck show with Direct Hit. You guys showed up to the open mic, and I think you showed up. And was that Young Rochelle? Were Young Rochelles on that tour too?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That would have been that
those
one.
guys. Yeah, that's it. Those guys were there. I remember seeing you guys show up while I was on stage trying to do material, and all it ended up being was me just roasting these strangers in the front. And I remember
Why not?
It was a really interesting night.
Hell yeah. Well, that's great. And how is the comedy scene in Toronto doing? Since you're a part of that,
like currently as we speak.
Well, yeah, nothing's happening currently. I guess. I mean in general.
The thing is, there's a handful of people doing as much like live Instagram live shows or Twitch shows, which is cool. You know, like always keeping busy. Because like realistically, what else do you have to do? I mean, you could like write more material or do a podcast or have like an online show. Even if you get like an extra 7 people looking at your shit on Instagram while they're on the toilet, it doesn't matter. It's the same difference as doing it at a bar that lets you do a show for 2 hours. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's actually pretty fun. I did one the other night, and I had a couple extra followers on Instagram, and they were chatting chatting with me and stuff. It's pretty cool. Prior to that, dude, Toronto is like indirectly, Toronto is kind of like the New York of Canada in that respect. Like most of the comedy scene is made up of expats. Like I'm not even from Toronto. I'm from Montreal already. That's where I'm from.
Wow.
I moved to Toronto in 2013, partially to work in the music industry and partially just to get better at stand up.
Oh yeah, and I can see that.
I would say I succeeded in both.
Good job.
I'm way funnier, and I make a living and pay rent off of working in the music industry. So
that's great.
I kind of work. But yeah, Toronto
I wish I could do that
for that. So there's literally Monday to Sunday. There's a lot to see, a lot to be a part of if you want to get into stand up or even sketch. I mean, think about it like Second City, like SCTV Second City started in both Chicago and Toronto. Like, you know, so it's a long history of improv.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah, and right? And that's why there's so many fucking. You know, there's a lot of like big time people. Always just think they're like from America or something, but like. A lot of Canadians end up like, you know, being really famous comedians and in huge movies and stuff and make it in like Hollywood and stuff.
Yeah, man. Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Mike Myers.
Dan Aykroyd, one of those guys? Or is he from, I don't know.
Dan Aykroyd.
There's like some people from Kingston, that area. Yeah, something like that.
John Candy, Catherine O'Hara, Eugene Levy. And now currently, like Russell Peters is easily one of the biggest international stand-up comics. I mean, disregarding if people like his material, it doesn't make a difference. The guy sells out fucking stadiums in like Dubai.
I don't know him.
It's like,
but
Russell Peters is from Toronto. He's an Indian dude from Toronto. Super funny. He was kind of one of the first comics to really blow up via YouTube. Like someone uploaded his like one of his comedy specials in like a Canadian comedy special and put on YouTube in like the early 2000s, and it blew up. And appropriately, like he's been doing stand up for a long time and worked really hard to get where he's at. And he's a product of Toronto. Like when he opens up his shows, it says like the pride of Brampton, Ontario, which is like a suburb of Toronto. The pride of Brampton, Ontario, Russell Peters, which is sick. You know, it's cool. So there's definitely a lot of funny fucking Canadians. That's for sure.
Hell yeah.
And there's so many more too. Like it's really impressive.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you know, there's gonna be more if you actually go there, because it's kind of like punk rock. I feel in that aspect of like when you get a scene going, because there's a lot of people that are doing the same thing. You know, maybe they fucking bounce things off of each other, or it just kind of like happens all together. That's kind of how punk rock scenes get going, and I could see the comedy scene being kind of the same type of deal.
It is, man. It's pretty. It's when alt comedy started to happen in the 90s in New York, and I guess maybe some parts of LA or San. I can't remember exactly, but like because it's just basically like doing comedy shows, but not at a club or affiliated with a club, and you start kind of making it DIY. Yeah, it expands it in that respect, and it kind of gives opportunity for anyone to give it a shot and try it. And man, when I moved to Toronto from Montreal, and I started to stand up in Montreal, I did it for about 9 months until I moved to Toronto. And like when I moved here, I was like starry-eyed, and I was like, okay, I can't wait to do this. I'm gonna make it. And then I started doing open mics and certain shows, and you see the list, and there's like 45 comedians signed up for a shitty open mic, and it's like 10:30, and you're like 38th on the 45 comics, and it's like, and you realize there's so many people, and it's kind of if sometimes it feels like it's dog eat dog, and it's like you gotta hit as many mics as you can, write material, hope that it's funny, work hard, which is true, but at the same time, like everyone's pretty cool. Like I made a lot of wicked friends through stand up in both Montreal and here that like I consider really good buds, and like we indirectly, and a lot of times you end up bounce ideas off of each other, or collaborate with each other and stuff, so it's fun, and it's a lot more punk rock than people think it is.
Yeah, and I think that's good to know, because I think people expect that with punk rock when you get shows. Like I remember back in the day too, like it's changed over time, and I have like my own fucking conspiracy theories or whatever you want to call it about why things changed. But it was like when in the scenes that we were involved in, it was a lot of like you're into pop punk? Well, cool, but you're still gonna end up going to the crust punk show, and you're gonna see some hardcore tonight. Well, whatever. It's like everybody was at every fucking show because they were all about like the scene and promoting it and everything. And that, I feel like that's kind of cooked into the whole like punk rock way of things. So it's nice to know that
the etho is there totally. The etho the etho was like borrowed and adapted within so many other subcultures or subgenres of whatever. Because like you have to, it's that thing. It's like, if you want it done well, you want it done properly, you got to do it yourself, right? So
it's DIY, right?
And it's DIY from whether it be like, let's say like from when you guys started to a comic who wants to try some shit out, and he lives in Austin, Texas, and he has to find he finds a local cafe that has open mic on like Wednesdays, whatever, you know what I mean? It's like it's still very the rudimentary origins of it. Like it's so similar. They cross they cross paths a lot, and it's I don't know, it's cool. It makes it really makes it a lot more tangible. So
yeah, it's wonderful. Guitar players, I bet you thought you were shit out of luck when it comes to finding your dream guitar or amp. You go on some auction site or something and it's all crap. Yeah, well that's because you gotta look in the right place, and the right place is Yeah Man's Vintage and Used Guitars. They got exactly what you're looking for. Now I know what you're thinking. Aren't they located in like Switzerland or something? Yeah man, they are. Bern, Switzerland to be exact. But you can get on the internet and you can go check out their website, yeahmansguitars.com, and you can order stuff on there. So, it don't really matter where the heck you are in the world. You can just get on their website and find all sorts of cool stuff that you're looking for. And you might not even know that you wanted it until you see it on there, and there's a lot of good stuff. If you got something specific you're looking for and need some help finding it, just hit up Yeah Man Guitars on the electronic mail. That's the email. It's like 21st century, and you got email and websites. It's like amazing. Some people will call it magic. Some people will call it science. I just call it, I don't know, crazy shit. yeahmansguitars@gmail.com. As far as email goes, it's where you email them. And while you're at it, get your band a tour in Europe and stop by the shop. Michael and the rest of the crew would love to meet you, I'm sure. And you could tell them Green sent you. Yeah Man's Vintage and Used Guitars. Hi, Intruder Maniacs. Are you in a band? The answer is, of course you are. Everybody's in a fucking band these days. Anyway, if you're in a band, congratulations. I'm making the worst financial decision of your life. Aside from taking out college loans or something. Yeah. Now, there is a way to lessen the burden of such a financial decision. It's called merchandising. And Stupid Rad Merch Company is all ready to meet your merchandising needs. You want some t-shirts? Got a tight deadline you need them printed on? And because you booked a tour less than a month out and you didn't get canceled like everybody else's tours did? How about a bunch of weird random trinkets like keychains, medallions, and what about koozies? Like everybody likes koozies. Koozies are great because they keep your drink cold and your hand warm, or vice versa, depending on what you're drinking. Stupid Rad Merch Company can get all these made for you. Stupid Rad Merch Company is an in-house artist who can help you with your designs of stuff. They're still a small enough company that they pay special attention to you and your special needs. Because, everybody's got special needs. Like, you probably mostly. And they even got a web store. That's where the real magic is. You go on tour and you sell your stuff, but chances are you're going to have some left over, or some fans are going to feel like left out because they didn't have enough money to buy something at your show. So they go on to stupidradmerch.com and find stuff from your band on there. They'll take care of all your production and shipping fulfillment needs. So go ahead, go on to Stupid Rad Merch Company's web store right now and check out all the tight bands that are already on there. They got a bunch of them, like got the Bomb Pops and like the Bad Cop and stuff. It's all good. All sorts of cool swag. And right now, if you go on there and at checkout you use the code PRISON, you can get 15% off all of the Stupid Rad Merch branded apparel at stupidradmerch.com. Go check it out.
StupidRadMerch.com.
And it makes a lot of sense that it would happen in comedy, because it's like, yeah, you got to have a community. And
There's so much, dude. There's so much shit out there. There's so much going on. You might not have, I don't know. Just like there's so many reasons why you might not be a regular at a comedy club, or maybe on a booking agency for this or blah, blah, blah. But if you love comedy and you want to make your name in your community, then why don't you start your own show? And the show theme is dogs, and every show you got to bring a picture of your dog, and you have to write a joke about a dog, like whatever. You know what I mean? There's so many random, and that's just like somewhere like Toronto. Like New York is like I've done a handful of shows in New York within the last year, and it's crazy how many shows per borough that there are.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So it's like it's a crazy thing now that with social media, and like especially with social media. It's like it's like an extra tool to put out your sketch show, to put out your fucking crust punk band's new EP that is only like 70 seconds long. You know what I mean? Like, like all that. It's always good to get to get reminded of that. Keep humble.
Absolutely. And so you were saying something earlier about I mean, obviously there's been a lot of live streaming of bands and stuff, but were you saying that there's kind of like a comedy circuit for that too, for live streaming? Yeah,
there's been a handful. Yeah, I mean, different people put on shows, or different people do like. I mean, it's kind of tough to. It's a little bit more difficult to land material when you don't necessarily have an audience.
That's what I was wondering about. So,
yeah. Right. So it's a little bit awkward, but like I did a show the other night. It's like a talk show. So I called in, my friend hosts it, and I called in. We just joked about a couple things, and then there was a timer, and once the timer was done, like that was my time. And that was it. You just talk shit, and it's also good to exercise that muscle of coming up with jokes or funny ideas on the fly. And the last show that I'd done, like that was just like that too. It's more like a talk show, because there's only so much. Yeah, like tonight, I don't know how it's gonna go, but because I have a comedy show tonight at 11, but I don't know if it's gonna be like a talking thing, or if I have to do 4 minutes of material with no verbal validation. Like, I don't know, but there is a thing. It's a way to keep busy. I mean, it's probably the same for musicians. I haven't performed Zoom or Twitch or anything like that yet, or I don't know if I will, but it's probably the same kind of thing. But it's a way to keep busy and to keep, keep people entertained in that respect,
Yeah, that's right. You got to, keep alive. It's a weird thing, because I keep saying I don't know, and it's gonna be like overkill with all the live streaming and stuff. But I guess we'll know it when it happens, right? Like, hopefully it won't get to that point. Hopefully we'll be back out on the streets soon enough like I said, I'm not trying to like, you know, some of these people are like, let me fucking go get my hair cut and it's more important than everybody's health. And I'm like, no, it's not. You could cut your own fucking hair. But you know,
isn't that crazy? Yeah, just cut your own fucking hair.
Right?
I don't understand. Did they never go to art school and have a liberal arts degree? Just cut your own fucking hair.
I guarantee those people
Definitely did not.
Most
go to
of them
liberal
did not
arts
go to
college,
school,
for sure.
or school in general. You know.
Or even school, even get an academic background for that matter. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, it's kind of taxing because it's not just in the U.S. There's people like that in Canada too that are like fed up and they want to go back to work and get their nails done or get their bangs trimmed. It's like, okay, come on.
Yeah, well, and I get it.
It's like, dude, why do you have bangs? One, and second, whatever. Like, just get your buddy to cut it or get your roommate to chop them off. I don't know.
Well, and it's like I get where they're coming from. It's a bummer having to be cooped up the whole time. But it's these same people who are like, you know, preparing, like they're like preppers and stuff. And it's like, well, you know, this is what you've been preparing for. Hunker down, bud. You gotta fucking like where's your bunker? Where's all your canned goods? You gotta fucking like hide out for a while.
Where's your
you
corn?
should be ready for this. Weren't you ready for this? What's your problem? And you know, it's like also it's like they act all tough with these guns and stuff. Like I don't know if that's what's going on in Canada, but I know it happened in like Michigan and like
and Lansing. Well, you know what's crazy, man? We recently had Canada is not a big gun place, just in general. You know, you could if you get your registration, you could one way or another purchase a gun to go hunting and stuff like that, which is understandable and it's within Canadian culture to an extent, rural Canadian culture. But a month or two ago, there was a dude in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I can't remember where, which is Atlantic Canada, like East Coast. Yeah. And the guy, it was like a big shooting. Like he killed a handful. Like I don't know how many people. I don't know exact information.
All right.
But there was a big shooting, and our prime minister had to put restrictions on what kind of guns were made available to the public because it got too out of hand, and especially during quarantine, it's crazy. Those people were helpless, and it's kind of fucked, man. The gun thing is crazy. It's a really interesting discussion, to be honest.
Yeah, well, yeah, and we could obviously go on and on about that, but the only point I was trying to make is like when these guys do these rallies, and first of all, they're protesting against social distancing and everything. But they're also out in public wearing masks, so they're like adhering to the rules, but then like protesting the rules. But then they got guns, and it's like you
conflicting
big
as all hell
crybabies with your big guns acting all tough. It's like they're just it's like when a little kid has a fucking temper tantrum and they start like rolling around on the ground crying, and by the end of it they don't even know what the fuck they're fucking crying about. Anyway, that's the way I feel about politics.
Their Game Boy. They wanted their Game Boy and they forgot within like a couple minutes. Yeah, it's kind of, it's kind of annoying and scary because that's the thing is like when attitude like that gets like displayed on social media or news outlets or whatever, it gets other people questioning and thinking about how they feel about the quarantine. And we all indirectly need to work together in order to flatten this curve so certain businesses could successfully reopen and have markets restart and everything. That's including live music, right? Like both you and I indirectly are kind of like not even indirectly, like directly, like everything. You're fair.
Everything's done right now. Like I don't know. I think we still technically have a show set up with the Less Than Jake and Lagwagon tour. I think it's still technically got rescheduled for like June or something, but I don't even know where we are on that, so I don't like to comment on it because I haven't been paying close enough attention. I'm like, I get that. It's I have no idea if it's going to happen this year, to be honest, and like nobody does. It's like they don't know.
Nah, man.
No promoters know. It's like we're trying to get it done because there's so many people, people's livelihoods involved that you just. You want it to happen, but it's like really, I don't know. It looks pretty bleak. But
because that's the thing. I mean, the people, like some people are out of work because their workplace is like put on a pause. But then when for certain industries, when the pause is removed and the quarantine's done, it'll go back to kind of normal. With like live music, capacities of venues are going to change.
Oh, yeah.
Money situations between agents and the talent buyers for certain clubs are going to change. No one's going to be walking around being like, yeah, can I get $2,000 to headline your club 2 weeks after quarantine? It's like, fuck no, we weren't open for 3 months. I'm not giving anyone money. It's a door split and a couple drink tickets. Shut your mouth, or you're not playing a show. Like, or book your own show at a fucking in your basement or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's going to be a whole for us. Like, it's a lot of the. I mean, there's always articles being posted by different outlets saying how live music is going to change. Dave Grohl wrote a thing about live music, which is beautiful, sure, but it's like really intense when it's places, let's say, like Bovine or whatever, smaller spots. That it's like things are going to be physically a lot more different, and in order to get there sooner, we all have to work together, and that's I mean, it's wishful thinking there, but PMA, right? Positive mental attitude.
That's right. Positive mental attitude. I think that's a good thing to say and think about. And it's the way, like, I think that's also why I believe, that things will be better in the live entertainment industry, because there are so many communities, even if it's not like punk rock or comedy, like all the other things you got, they all come together as a community and say like, hey, we're doing this and we got to make it happen, but we're going to do it the right way. And it'll be interesting to see what happens, but I believe it will, happen.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because if you don't try to like, contribute by, self-quarantining or wearing a mask or blah, 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 it's like, it's going to take longer. It's like, it's just it's really counterintuitive. Like, it's so dumb. It's like, the more you make a stink, the longer it's going to take to potentially have your job back or your workplace reopen or your favorite fucking hairdresser, or I don't know, what's that place? First Cuts or Cut Save? What's that place there in the U.S.? Like the discount hair salon there in malls. What's it called?
Oh yeah, I don't know, like Easy Cuts or some shit.
That Easy is
that the one?
Cuts, like just if you shut your mouth, like guys, like stay home. Lansing, Michigan, stay home, and then you go to Easy Cuts in maybe 2 weeks instead of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
It doesn't make sense.
Fucking grow that shit out too, man. Like, it looks good, probably. If you got it, flaunt it.
Yeah.
All right.
Imagine, like, use that as a campaign to get people to stop complaining about not getting their haircuts. Like, you'll probably look good with long hair. Grow long hair.
That's
I'm
right.
balding. Whatever. Get a Phil Collins. Get a Phil Collins haircut. Doesn't
That's
matter.
right. Phil Collins looks great. And you could grow a beard too, and it'll be wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm bald and like I have a beard. Yeah. I mean, I'll be less special, but it's nice to not care and just let hair on your face grow. Like, whatever, fuck it, do it. Come on, Lansing.
Yeah. So I want to, before we get too long here, talk about you for a minute in like your experience. You said you're originally from Montreal and moved to Toronto to hit it big and succeeded in that. But so like, what was it like, like being a young lad in Montreal and everything that goes along with that?
So, sorry, what was the question you wanted to ask me? How it was being a young lad in Montreal?
Yeah, like being into music and comedy and everything that you were into and that scene.
It was, I mean, look, now you played shows in Montreal. I know for a fact I've seen you at Puza.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And you've been, like, Montreal has a really good punk scene, and it has for a long time.
We play at Foufs a lot.
Yeah. Foufs is, okay, indirectly, because Foufs has been around longer, like, Bovine is kind of like an equivalent to Foufs.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like it's that punk rock staple. If you're a punk rocker, you gotta do a shot of Jaeger at either. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. Like, and that's where I grew up, and Foufs was the first club I went to. At 16, I had a fake ID on my friend's library card that said I was born in 85. And going to Foufs changed. I don't want to say it changed my life, but it definitely opened a big fucking door. Because back in the day on Saturday night, they just had a DJ that played literally whatever. It would be like Beastie Boys, Catch 22, AC/DC, nice. Sublime. Planet Smashers, Enter Sandman by Metallica, and then May 16 by Lagwagon. It was literally like all the stuff that I had on my Kazaa or LimeWire back in the day. You know what I mean? Like all the shit I would rock on LimeWire or whatever was on these massive big speakers, and people are dancing on the same stage that like Kurt Cobain played in the early 90s, and it was just like this punk rock lore about this spot, and the fact that I got in with a fucking library card still blows my brain. And at the time, you were able to smoke inside the club, so it was my friend's 18th birthday, and I bought us cigars, so we were smoking cigars on the dance floor, like skanking to like a Boston song. Like, it was so silly.
Wow.
But it was fun as shit. Yeah, it was cool. And I'm an Anglo Montrealer, and like I'm an English speaking Montrealer, which is obviously a tremendous.
I was like, I don't know what the fuck that means, but okay.
Oh, okay, because Quebec, the province where Montreal is a bilingual province, right? It's French and English. So my family is like an English speaking Montreal family, but I mean we're all bilingual. We all speak French, and growing up, I remember getting not necessarily picked on, but kids would talk shit, like the English kid. Oh, that's the English kid, and point at me or whatever. Huh. But then as you get older and you get into like skateboarding and you meet cool cats at the skate park, and then when you get into the punk scene, you go to a local show with your English speaking friend. But then you end up, bumming a lighter to some group of French punks, and then you become friends with those guys. And then you see them at the next local show. And then later on, you end up playing a show with them like 5 years later at a club downtown and blah, blah, blah. And it was cool, man. It was it's a fun, it was a very interesting scene, man. It was really cool. And like places like Fouf's and Catacombs or like, rest in peace Catacombs, but like spots like
I think we've been to Catacombs too. I don't know if we played there.
You might have. Puza had a lot of showcases there, and over the years. But man, Montreal's a really cool punk scene. Stomp Records is like birthed out of Montreal. Mm-hmm. So like Planet Smashers and Penske File and so many different bands over the years. Bedouin Sound Clash, which was huge, and Sub. Anyways, it's just like it had a really Vans Warped Tours in Montreal were mental. Like there was so much fun. It was crazy.
Yeah, people definitely like to party there. I mean, Toronto too. But
Toronto too for sure. I mean, I'm not knocking Toronto. It's like where my career is, and I love the city. I'm a part of this community, and I'm very proud and happy to be a part of it. But Montreal's my heart and my hometown, and like for punk rock especially, it's like magical. Sometimes like especially at Puza with the outdoor stage, there's a portion of the fairgrounds where it's free. Like you don't have to have a bracelet, and I would end up linking up with friends from high school that are like, oh wait, hey, are you at Puza? We want to watch Less Than Jake. You want to come with us? And like with our kid, like they have kids now, and they're outside, and we're watching Less Than Jake together, and in downtown Montreal too, which is what's special. Because how many other cities do you know that would have like a loud punk festival smack downtown?
Yeah, there's seriously, there's honestly like two in the world that I know of.
Like, and it's like what, maybe Gainesville and Montreal?
Yeah,
like
those are the ones.
Florida,
it's
you know what I mean?
Gainesville and
Gainesville's
Montreal.
a lot smaller.
Yeah.
So it's Montreal is a really Montreal's a really, I'm proud to be from there. I'm still proud to be a part of it one way or another, even though I don't currently live there. Yeah. But growing up in Montreal in the punk scene, it was definitely a lot of fun, man. It was fucking cool, dude.
Oh yeah, I believe it to be true. Yeah, good times. I got one last question for you. Unless you got anything else you want to bring up first.
Okay. So I mean, this is not going up today, is it?
No. This will be months from now. Honestly, I'm getting pretty ahead of myself. Thanks to Melanie, she's been hooking me up with so many bands and stuff.
Oh, dude, it's the smartest thing to bank interviews and stuff, so you have content to put out for sure. Man, what do I have? I mean, look, a lot of the things I would have loved to have promoted, like they're indirectly got canceled because of COVID. Yeah. And there's one thing I would love to announce, but I can't till like another 2-3 weeks, which sucks.
Oh well, it'll be. This will definitely not be out for I don't know until at least 4 weeks from now. So you could probably shoot or just let me know the date. Let me know the date, and then I'll or like the announced date, and I'll keep it secret till then, at least.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to be doing the comedy showcase at Fest this year in Gainesville, Florida. If, knock on wood, I don't want nothing to happen, but I'm going to be on the comedy showcases on the Saturday and the Sunday at Fest. Nice. So just for more updates about, comedy stuff coming up into the late summer, fall, because I wanted to start doing more stuff more projects and more shows when everything opens up. Just add me on Instagram at JerseyFresh05. And, and if you ever, and also follow the Bovine on Instagram as well. We have a lot of, when things open back up, because I know the calendar, we have a lot of cool events coming up too, and a lot of cool shows, a lot of wicked local bands. So add the Bovine, see what's up. Going on in Toronto is a great punk scene, and Yeah, it's about it, man.
All right. Oh well.
Yeah, and check out my band. Check out my band, dude.
Yeah, do it. I believe it. I want to.
I play in a badass local skate punk band called Back of the Class, and we don't necessarily have anything new, but I mean this is a nice platform for other punk rockers. So check out Back of the Class if you like Lagwagon and Millencolin. So
hell yeah.
Yeah.
So are you doing the fest comedy thing? Are you hosting it, or are you just playing down there?
I'm just going to be performing. I didn't get asked to host, but I'm going to be performing this year. So
well, excellent.
I'm really excited.
I hope I get to see you down there because. Are
you guys on? Are you guys playing this year?
Not as of yet.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know. We definitely haven't announced anything. Like, I'm kind of oblivious to any shows that we have booked right now because of just the way things are. I'm like not even paying attention. I'm like, call me when something is confirmed for sure, and I'll see if I can actually get there because I'm in Germany, and who knows if the travel ban's even fucking a situation we can deal with, you know?
Yeah, that's why I said, like, knock on wood. I don't want to jinx anything. I'm hoping that things like cool down and people cooperate, so then we could open borders and etc. Because all my immediate family lives in the U.S. and I wanted to actually kind of like tour to Gainesville and do a handful of shows prior to the fest.
Oh yeah, that's the way to do it.
Just to, why not? Man, everyone talks shit about the South. I love the South. Like I think like when you do those punk shows or those comedy shows and you meet some cats and it's just like they're just like you but in warmer weather and they speak Spanish and it's just like, I don't know, it's just fun meeting. I don't know. I think the South is cool and I'm excited to go back.
Oh yeah, I have a lot of good times down in the South. Yeah, like the thing is like, fuck man, I'm with all this lack of like playing shows, lack of touring stuff, like. If we were able to like at least go to Fest, even if we don't get to play, I don't know. I almost just want to take a vacation down to Montreal too, but like Gainesville and fucking hang out and maybe like all the bands that were gonna play Fest. If it doesn't happen, just show up and we'll hang out outside or something and blast some tunes, tell some jokes. I don't know. We gotta make something happen, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, dude. I'm into that. It's really, really interesting, man. When I heard of Fest, like 10, 12 years ago, I was kind of intimidated by the idea of it. Like these punks from all over the world drinking PBRs and blah, blah, blah. And then when I finally got to go to Fest, I'm like, yeah, there's a bunch of nerds just like me. Like I could beat up everyone here. This is amazing. Like everyone's
That's right.
Like everyone's a homie. No one's intimidating. Everyone's accepting. And it's like, it's a really magical experience. If you like anything weird and alternative and fringy and loud, man, Fest is your shit.
Absolutely. I love it.
Yeah.
I hope it gets to happen, but at the same time, the whole term. Have you heard of Fest AIDS?
Yeah, Fest. Oh yeah, I know Fest AIDS.
Yeah, that could take on a whole new thing this year if it happens too early.
Yeah. Fest AIDS might be a trigger word, to be honest, at this point. So maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I totally know what you're saying. It gets kind of messy down there.
That's right. We got to kind of wrap it up because we're getting long here, but I wanted to ask you, this is the new thing I do on the show, and I'm going to keep calling it the new thing I do on the show until I figure out a better way to introduce it. Crime stories. Do you got any?
Crime stories? Oh, man. Crime stories. Man, you really... Jesus Christ, what a way to throw a wrench in my thing, because honestly, to be honest, I'm not a very... Like I'm not opposed to rules sometimes. I'm not as mischievous as people think I might be. I'm just more of a dummy class clown guy. I was never really a crime guy. But one thing that was dumb, and it definitely technically was a crime because I got a big ticket for it. I was just, when I was 18, I was fed up because there was about a month I didn't have a job, and it was right after I finished a semester of college. And I went to my friend's band's show. The show is free. I had no money. My friend bought me one beer, blah, blah, blah. And at the time, that day, I went skateboarding with a friend that had my camera on me.
Yeah.
So I just decided, and at the time, I was obsessed with Dane Cook. And Dane Cook had a bit where he said, like, he just takes off, he has, like, snap pants, and he rips off his pants, and he's in his underwear, and he just, like, slaps the floor, and he's like, come on! So I just decided to, like, do that, but on Saint Laurent Street in downtown Montreal, which is a very busy street. Like, it's there's clubs and bars everywhere. And I decided to do that at, like, 11:30 midnight on this, I don't know, I think it was like a Wednesday or Thursday night, and I was in my socks and my underwear. I was a chubby kid, and I'm slapping the floor. And I'm like, "Come on!" And then as I finished yelling while cars are coming up the street, I noticed behind the car there was two vans filled with cops, Like
Uh-oh.
they came out. There must have been 6 cops. Like it was
That's
so
like
strange. Like I wasn't really causing
that's
that much of a
terrifying.
stink.
Yeah.
And they gave me a ticket. There was one cop, this woman, and I start to panic. And when I panic, if anything, like I speak in English.
Okay.
Just because it's my mother tongue, and then she started getting mad at me, and I was like, oh my god. And then this one cop was like, okay, dude, like, look, you're almost naked, like you can't do this, like, sorry, man. Like he spoke English, like he was bilingual, and they gave me a ticket, whatever. But then I got cocky the day after because my friend told me like you could contest it. I'm like, contest it?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah. If you don't think you deserve the ticket, you could just contest it. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. So I filed it because in my head I'm like, oh, that cop who didn't like the fact that I responded to her in English. Gave me attitude and gave me aggravation. So you know what? I don't feel like I deserve to get this ticket. So that's what I submitted.
Yeah.
But at the time, I lived with my folks. So like months later, there's a letter coming from the justice of the Court of Justice of Montreal, and my mom's like, "What?" Like with my name on it, and I'm like, she's like, "What the heck?" So obviously, an Italian mother sees a letter from the government about her son for a court. She's like, "What the hell's this?" She opens that shit up and she looks at it, and it says like drunk in public, indecent exposure, nudity, and blah blah. So like when I got home, she's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Oh, well, Mom." I was like, "I wasn't drunk." She's like, "I don't care. You're paying it." I'm like, "But I wasn't drunk. The lady was mean to me because I spoke in English." She's like, "I told you, speak French, be polite. And if you do something stupid, be polite, so that way it doesn't make it worse." I'm like, "Oh, okay, fine." And then I paid the $300 ticket or whatever. Yeah, it was a lot, man. It was a really strange ticket.
Yeah.
But that was that was probably the dumbest crime, quote unquote. Like I wasn't drunk, but I was definitely indecently exposed, I guess, to an extent. I mean, chubby guy in small underwears and socks walking around Saint Laurent Street yelling "Come on" all the time. Like,
yeah.
So, yeah,
that's the problem with Dan Cook influenced situations. All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure, bud, and I don't want to.
Thanks for having
probably
me, dude.
get going.
It.
Hell yeah! And I want to talk to you more, later about, maybe some stuff involving the industry and everything. I got some ideas, but we'll do that. We'll do the emails and stuff because it's the 21st century and we got technology and whatever.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm into. I like your attitude towards that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
for sure.
Excellent, bud. We'll talk to you soon then, and stay safe, stay sane, and fucking we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, you too, man. Bump the elbows with your family and friends, and keep the masks on, and stay positive, and talk to you soon, man.
Absolutely. And that's it for the Intruder Green podcast. I want to thank Gabe again for being on it. You can hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at Intruder Green. The Intruder Green call-in line is +1 608 535 9608. Patreon.com/Intruder Green if you want to become a producer of the show. Produced by Colin Bennett, hair and makeup, Genevieve Smith, set design by Dylan Rama, catering by Matthew Hendershot, lighting, Squeak Lights, Rahway, New Jersey. Our theme song is Particles by Pipe Bros. Hey Claudius, you killed my father. Big mistake.